Man, I love sequel failures. They're perfect for exposing producers as the joyless NPCs that they really are. I mean, not only is it a cash grab, but these movies invite more scrutiny on themselves than almost anything else by vandalizing things that people have great memories with. And I'm pretty sure they know full well that they're just going to be making their money back on people who are paying to see this, only to decide how mad they are about it. One of the victims of this was How High. How High was made in 2001 and is fondly remembered by at least stoner comedy fans. It was made during a hot streak for stoner comedies, which is an era that remains well loved. It was also a blossoming moment for the Wu-Tang Clan to make their big unexpected break into the sitcom market. But Method Man and Redman were surprisingly successful choices. They had a pre-existing synergy and a unique type of charisma, plus it has a bonkers supernatural premise that involves them digging up a founding father and smoking his toe to summon his spirit. Right on. Plus, it was directed by Bob Dylan's son, which is pretty cool despite his unfortunate resemblance to Jared Fogle. How High 2 is Desperate Zoomer Barf. In most cases, you'd think that like 18 years after this movie being made, nobody was really asking for this sequel, but in this case, it's not exactly true. There were efforts involving Method Man and Redman as early as the late 2000s for a sequel. They then spent several years tinkering with scripts and bickering with Universal. But now 2018 comes and MTV gets Universal 1440 Entertainment, the company responsible for only the best Redbox bait and other unwanted sequels. And they got started on production without Method and Red, despite having an unreviewed script that they were intended to be a part of.
Out of the blue, we get calls from everywhere like, yo, Lil Yachty is starring in the movie, or MTV picked up How High 2. And I'm like, wait a minute. We got writers that's writing the movie. We got people up at Universal that's giving us a green light. What's going on? You know, they actually wanted us in the movie. But just the whole idea of how the business was done.
How High 2 is a special type of sequel because it comes from this recent trend where you just copy the same basic premise of the original, just add like a really cheap, newer sheen on top. You know, no matter how bad a movie may be, it's these movies where the interest in making an actually good movie is at its lowest. Oh, you didn't like that movie? I'm sorry. Have you checked out the new Cop and a Half? It's $3.99 on Redbox. Casting celebrities who aren't famous for acting is a risky gamble. Sometimes rappers have the right kind of charisma to play certain roles, but you just can't grab whoever's hot or you'll end up pulling a Coolio.
Did I ever tell you how many times I see you and want to ejaculate all over your bazonkas?
Now, I'm not gonna say Lil Yachty is unlikable. With Lil Yachty, I feel like he's just like one of those kids in high school where he has no idea what's going on, no matter how many times the teacher's calling on him.
Get on, go good! Hey, better stop!
And I don't like pointing this out, but the guy has major mush mouth, especially for a rapper.
I don't even know the lyrics to that song, keep it 100.
All in all, his camera presence, it's a lot like dishes from the night before that you wake up to. And, you know, I'm gonna guess that their way of countering Lil Yachty's kind of cold soup energy by pairing him with the locomotive that is DC Youngfly. I think he's mainly known from MTV's Wild 'N Out, which is like a hip-hop oriented sketch comedy show with roasts and stuff like that. Which in a lot of ways feels to me like an MTV product for suburban kids who are graduating from the Disney Channel. Also, you know how shows use fake laughter to kind of sell their jokes a little harder? They push that so hard, you're almost scared not to laugh.
Look like he gonna break into jail. Hold on.
Not having that to lube you up for his zany antics really sends the awkwardness home.
Cause you the spark that started all.
Hey, I ain't got.
But the thing is, I can't really blame him for overacting in this. There's so little that this movie offers that is funny, he must have felt like Atlas trying to carry this movie. And I can't say that either of these guys don't have their own type of charisma, but the script made sure to wash as much of that away as possible. They really got the whole character concept completely backwards. The original played on this fish out of water bit with verifiably cool rappers who got into an Ivy League and didn't fit in because they really had too much swag. In this one, they're really just losers. The whole setup is that they're broke, they're too irresponsible to keep even a fast food job, and yet they still have this like big business idea with no means of actually making that happen. They're creepy coomers, and there's like 5 minutes or more of their trap house neighbor berating them.
Big Bang, you got you looking stupid. You know who I am? You know who grass you on? You know who almost propped? Big Bang can't make nobody look like nobody. Big Bang only make Big Bang look like Big Sign. Only thing I signed is death certificate. I'm gonna fire you too. I'm gonna let you work half a day. You out of here.
And to further exploit the worst aspects of Gen Z culture, the editing looks like it was from a rap video editor from Fiverr. I mean, they're over here trying to hype up completely needless booty checks.
Ooh. Green eggs and ham.
This is what kids like these days, right? Now, the question remains, can they make a story with these guys that's gonna stick? You know, the concept of magic weed can go a long way after all. Well, this movie's concept is revealed in a perfectly fitting way. DC Youngfly is sending creepy messages to women on social media, and then insults them when they don't reply within 2 seconds.
She read it, but how she gonna leave me on red, man? She ain't even that cute anyway. She need to stop skipping leg day with her little ugly ass.
And throws his phone in masculine rage, and then they find a book called the Weed Bible with some esoteric instructions. And so you might be thinking, oh cool, something mysterious hidden in a wall, something we can circle back to. Funny enough, they were actually going to use this as a way to work method and read into this movie, where they were the ones who wrote the book. And when they gave up the movie, they just kind of left the book concept in there and just avoided any explanation of any kind. They smoke a magic blunt and go on what's supposed to be a psychedelic trip, but it's really just a rip on Mario Kart. And honestly, if a blunt's making you feel this way, you got slipped sherm, dude. Ugh, I don't like this. Where's his nose? And at the end of the road, they meet the character Baby Powder, a cameo that's one of the few sad nods to the original. You know, there's really no meaningful connection between this guy and the original character. He pops up on a green screen with an entirely unnecessary hype girl.
Where are we? You just smoked yourself a one-way ticket to a player's party.
Players.
Who are you?
Like, who is she? Why is she in cannabis purgatory with Baby Powder? Why is she rewording everything he's saying but just louder?
He smells like angel farts.
Thoughts of an angel.
I mean, she may very well be very talented. But this role feels a little bit more like a favor being cashed in onto me. Hey girl, we got you a super important role next to one of the original cast members of How High. You're gonna be a star, I promise. Now please, I'm lonely, come over. And in so many words, he tells them that the weed is just ambiguously magic.
Now this weed right here will give you supernatural ability to fight off evil, dangerous things.
So this incredible weed just like senselessly appears into their life. Their big plan is, hey, let's sell weed and make money. Wait, isn't that like the story of thousands of people everywhere? Now we get to try and hold our excitement in while they get a little montage of them growing their plant. What silly antics will they get into trying to sell it? And it's here where we get a DaBaby cameo. Honestly, another rapper who's probably better off not trying to act.
Don't look at the camera, sweetie.
Or maybe he's fine as long as you should get some subtitles or something.
What the hell going on, man? Y'all see this big ass boat in front of y'all, man?
And this is supposed to be the moment we're supposed to get insight into the weed's magic powers now. But the big payoff is just DaBaby getting offered free weed, then relaxes about getting rear-ended.
Man, I ain't even tripping, man. Don't even worry about it, man.
That's just regular weed, dude. And to drive home the unimpressive reality of the weed's magic, there's yet another montage of them selling it around town, so we can see the magic of low-income people using it to cope with their work. Neato. You know, and it's really at this point where the hope for this movie comes crashing down. The magic weed was the last hope. Things could have gotten weird. And they're trying to tell me the same story as my next door neighbor. Even the big conflict that gets introduced doesn't make things any better. Like, oh, somebody stole all your weed. Happens to neighbor Jordy every week. Big deal. Their first stop is the next door trap house with this loud guy. And of course he starts like tossing out trollish ideas of where they should look for their weed, including the high school.
What you do is check the high school. Oh, them hot boys down there, they got no respect. All they looking for is somebody to get.
Which sounds like a quick, funny joke, right? If it is, they didn't exactly play it out very hard, because these two creeps did exactly that. But not before showing one of the weirdest visual jokes I've seen in a long time.
That's the booty club. Woo!
And they just start walking around the high school during school hours. There just isn't even close to enough comedic timing to make this not seem creepy as hell. And not only does DC Youngfly specifically put on his Coochie King hat for the occasion, he also has like a blunt tucked behind his ear. I mean, there's gotta be something wrong with this school if it's really that easy for drug dealers to roam a public school during class hours. But then again, within like 30 seconds, they find a teacher smoking a joint in his classroom. But he tells us that he bought some of their weed from the Russian dealers.
I tell you, this dank as fudge.
Then it's like the principal that discovers that they're in the school, and now he has to go chase them down. Like, where have we gone wrong that a school is so bad, the principal is relegated to physically chasing down legal adults who are getting a weed plug from one of their teachers? It's way more sad than funny. I'm laughing, but it's sad. At least it's an excuse to have the weed do something kind of magic. And by magic, I mean that same cheap wire trick that one pastor uses. Okay, like, there's a little finesse there, but basically the weed just got them to go around the principal so they could just skitter off. Then their creepy behavior continues when they pull up to Lil Yachty's love interest job while she's working. Now, before you think that that sounds cute, these two are not a couple. He flirted with her once while wearing a ketchup-stained undershirt. And, like, what else could she be doing for work right now but giving a tour to who? High school students. Get these people away from minors. Vibes would be so much less weird in this if they were anywhere else other than where children are supposed to be.
So are you guys with the kids?
But in this universe without reasonable boundaries, this professional woman invites these two guys she doesn't know very well to go on the tour with the students. This movie even acknowledges this whole segment has nothing to do with their mission they're on right now.
Oh, what are you doing? We ain't got no time for no full tour.
And Yachty's like, dude, free soda.
Good. Plus, she said a free soda.
And they run into the CEO of the company who, spoiler alert, ends up being an important character. Want to guess if Mary Lynn Rajkub in box braids is good or bad? You know, there's got to be at least enough social commentary for the TikTok community. Unexpectedly, they both just kind of wander off aimlessly around this professional building while people who are working on the clock are passing them by. These guys are so compulsively weird and creepy. It really makes it hard to transition to this flirty bonding scene with these two.
I guess, I don't know, I just started focusing on my career.
Dude, I'm all about my paper too, but yo, I gotta smoke. Like, I got to stay high.
Where you're cute, so you can do that.
Like, what the hell are you even talking about? Being cute helps you get away with needing to be high all the time? Let's pretend that made sense. So she's not cute enough to smoke and Lil Yachty is? Plus, he's not getting away with anything. He's hanging in his mom's basement and looking for weed in high schools. You know, back to see what DC Youngfly is doing. Wait!
Want me happy? Let me take a picture.
So I guess this movie thought the best way to market to a younger audience was to just reference all the worst aspects of their culture. And why is his text size the same as my grandma's? And who is back to hammering the nail in the head about who her character's supposed to be?
Love you, brothers.
The movie's like, oh shoot, we had a story we've been procrastinating on. And so finally they talked this poorly acted girl boss into going to find the dealers.
And you could die. Okay, well, as long as I'm not eating a boring-ass salad bowl at the mall, I'm down for whatever, Calvin.
So we get a classic no-nonsense business talk.
Look at me. I'm about to go left and right like a carnival game on his leg.
And they do the thing where they give everyone one of their blunts to, like, just make things go mildly well.
Это не наше. Здесь написано слабый хуй.
This college kid, he come into my tattoo shop. He said, I want cool Russian tattoo. But fuck this guy. So I designed weak dick. He must like...
Okay, I can handle a dick joke, but not in a borderline offensive Slavic accent. Then curveball, the Russian lady starts signaling human trafficker.
I want her.
Uh-oh! Which now suggests, like, that weed is even less impressive than I thought. Small inconveniences, I got you. Life-altering problems, you're on your own, buddy. Oh no, what now? How will they possibly escape? Neato! So now we have a new lead. It's in some frat house at a college campus. That's a perfect opportunity for one of those moments that's only there to make you cry for what once was. And they stumble upon a fraternity party, which, you know, has some pretty weird Coomer bait in it. Ugh, gross. So they convince them that they're frat members from like another branch or something. And there's some almost funny hijinks that ensue with this. One involves him falling and knocking over the founding members' ashes.
Founding brothers' asses!
Now I know this is just an excuse for a goofy chase scene, but if fraternities really have the ashes of deceased members on their shelves, that really isn't going to help the secret society conspiracies. And the chase scene is a good excuse to try out some more humor, which of course, more Coomer bait, then Zoomer bait. And then this guy honestly looks like he's just having the time of his life, all by himself. Like, why is DC so upset by this? Thankfully, they're only chased for like 20 feet before I guess the frat guys moved on and started smoking in another room. So remembering that they actually need something, they go to confront them. And look who we see, the guy with the Russian tattoo. It's a really weird tie-in to a character that we have no idea or relationship with whatsoever. And then you get this really abrupt new lead, which just brings them right back to the point they started at.
I just bought your weed. You know, some dude sold it to me for cheap.
What dude that was?
I don't know, some dude going on about a booty cloud.
This is a maneuver that just artfully makes that last hour or so we just watched feel like even more of a waste of time than it ever did in the first place. The movie seems to admit it had no idea where it was going this entire time. We're right back at the beginning with no real plot development. Like, this guy just dumps the plot out on the side of the highway like a redneck's trash.
Okay, all right, yeah, I got it. All right, I sold him some weed, and I ain't got none of the rest, and I ain't got your Bible no more either. Sold that too.
Are you not more mad? You guys have been running all over. This man just stole from you. But we gotta remember, this movie wanted our leads to be losers. They have to just take it.
Oh my God.
Mom, I can't unsee stuff like that.
Unsee this too. And then.
Considering that it's a direct-to-streaming ripoff, all that's really left is just the obligatory tropes, like needlessly teeny bopper drama, the villain needlessly pouring out the details of their plan leading to their downfall, and an unrealistic musical finale. What more do you need to know other than that there's one last insane visual gag? Want to learn more? Find out with How High 2.